You know the feeling, don't you? That mental haze that settles in after hours of scrolling. The twitchy, restless need to fill every spare moment with a screen. The struggle to focus on just one thing for more than a few minutes. This isn't just you being distracted. It's a phenomenon people are calling digital brainrot, and it's quietly chipping away at your ability to think, feel, and focus deeply. It's a slow decay of your clarity and inner peace, engineered by the very apps we use every day. But what if the antidote wasn't a new app or a productivity hack, but an ancient, battle-tested philosophy? What if the key to rebuilding your mind in the 21st century was forged 2,000 years ago in ancient Rome? The core virtues of Stoicism offer a practical toolkit to reclaim your focus and reverse the mental fatigue of the digital age. This isn't about managing your screen time, it's about winning back your mind. Let's be honest about what we're up against. This isn't some dramatic collapse, it's a slow, creeping corrosion of your focus. It's why you can read the same paragraph 4 times and still have no idea what it says. It's why silence feels so unbearable that it has to be filled with a podcast, a video, or just one more refresh of the feed. We've been trained to treat our attention like it's worthless, giving it away to the highest bidder, which is almost always an algorithm designed to keep you watching. The symptoms are probably all too familiar. Short-term memory lapses, a constant feeling of mental exhaustion, and a real difficulty in starting or finishing important tasks. You sit down to work, and 3 hours later, you've vanished down a rabbit hole of digital detours with nothing to show for it. It's more than just a short attention span, it's a dulling of the spirit. You don't feel sharp or creative anymore. You feel foggy, reactive, and half-present, like your own thoughts are just echoes of the last thing you watched. And this isn't just a feeling, it reflects real cognitive challenges. Neuroscientists have correlated compulsive smartphone use with impacts on attention, working memory, and even decision-making skills. Some studies suggest a potential link between excessive screen time and changes in brain structure, such as a thinning of the cerebral cortex, the part of the brain responsible for higher-level thinking. This constant overstimulation can put the brain's impulse control center, the prefrontal cortex, in a state of overdrive, while the emotional centers, like the amygdala, can become more reactive, contributing to anxiety and stress. You feel agitated when you're away from your device not because you're weak, but because your brain has been wired to crave that next hit of stimulation. The business model of much of the internet is built on fracturing your attention. The infinite scroll creates the illusion that your time is also infinite, when it's the most finite resource you have. We are giving away our most precious hours to machines that know exactly how to hook us. This isn't a bug, it's a feature. But the Stoics knew, long before screens ever existed, that a life of unchecked distraction leads to a weak mind. They knew the greatest battle is the one for your own focus. And they left us the blueprint for how to win it. So, how do we fight back against something designed to be addictive? Not with more tech, but with character. With virtue. Stoicism is built on 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, temperance, courage, and justice. Think of them not as stuffy, abstract ideals, but as a practical shield and a powerful weapon against the mental drain of modern life. First up is wisdom. For a Stoic, wisdom is the sharp ability to tell the difference between what's important and what's trivial. In our world, it's about knowing what's actually worth your attention versus the endless stream of digital junk food. Social media wants you to react on impulse, but wisdom asks you to pause and think. A wise person understands that most of what flashes across their screen is not just useless, but actively harmful to their peace. With every potential click, they ask, why am I doing this? Does this actually make my life better? Wisdom is the bouncer for your brain, protecting it from the internet's garbage. Second, there's temperance. This is the virtue of self-control and moderation. If wisdom is knowing the right thing to do, temperance is having the discipline to actually do it. It's the conscious choice to set limits for yourself in a world that offers none. Temperance is about creating a digital diet, where you're intentional about what you consume and when. This could be as simple as scheduling time for social media, deleting apps that serve no real purpose, or silencing notifications that exist only to make you anxious or envious. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Temperance is about finding richness in focus, not in the sheer volume of information. Third, we have courage. We don't usually think of logging off as a courageous act, but today, it absolutely is. Stoic courage isn't just about facing physical danger, it's about willingly facing discomfort for a greater good. The digital world has made us terrified of being bored or alone with our thoughts. It takes guts to put your phone down and just sit in silence. It takes courage to resist the easy dopamine hit of a notification and choose the harder, more rewarding path of deep work or real conversation. The Stoics would practice voluntary hardship, taking time to disconnect completely, to prove to themselves that they could not only survive without constant stimulation but actually thrive. Finally, there's justice. In Stoicism, justice is about acting with integrity and serving our community. How does that apply to digital life? Well, our online habits have real-world consequences. When we mindlessly share outrage bait, we add fuel to a more toxic world. When we're only half present with our friends and family because we're staring at a screen, we are failing them. Justice, in this context, means using technology in a way that respects yourself and others. It means choosing to add to the world's wisdom instead of its chaos. By practicing these 4 virtues, you aren't just treating symptoms, you're building an inner citadel, a fortress in your mind that can't be touched by the trivial noise of the digital world. Understanding the virtues is the first step, but Stoicism is all about action. The Stoics gave us a set of mental exercises, powerful tools to break the chains of distraction and start reversing the effects of brainrot. The first and most fundamental tool is the dichotomy of control. The philosopher Epictetus taught that our main job in life is to sort things into 2 baskets: things we can control and things we can't. So much of our modern anxiety comes from obsessing over things in that second basket: the algorithm, what other people post, the 24/7 news cycle. The Stoic response? Let it go. You can't control the digital storm, but you can always control how you respond to it. Here's how to use this right now. The next time you feel that magnetic pull toward your phone, just pause. Ask yourself, is the content on this device within my control? No. Is my decision to pick it up within my control? Yes. You control your thoughts and your actions. That's it. By reminding yourself of this, you stop being a victim of technology and start being the agent of your own life. You take your power back from the algorithm. The second technique is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It sounds grim, but it's an amazing tool for building resilience. The Stoics would imagine losing their wealth or health, not to be negative, but to appreciate what they had and to prepare for hardship. We can adapt this. In the morning, visualize your day without the internet. Imagine the initial restlessness, that feeling of being disconnected. Face it in your mind. Then, realize you'd be fine. You'd read a book, go for a walk, talk to someone. By doing this, you strip the digital world of its power over you. It becomes a tool you use, not a master you fear. The third, and maybe most crucial, technique is what we can call the art of assent. The Stoics believed it's not events that upset us, but our judgments about them. A notification pings. In that tiny moment before you react, you have a choice. You can assent to it, judging it as important and needing your immediate attention, or you can withhold your assent, seeing it for what it is, a mere distraction. Practicing this is like doing a push-up for your prefrontal cortex. Every time a notification buzzes, see it as an attempt to hijack your focus. Notice the urge to check it, then consciously choose not to. Let the urge pass. Every time you do this, you weaken the automatic stimulus reaction and strengthen the muscle of deliberate choice. You're training yourself to respond, not just react. Finally, we have Stoic journaling. This isn't a Dear Diary situation. It was a core practice for thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, whose famous book Meditations was his own private journal. It's a daily self-examination to reinforce your practice. At the end of the day, spend a few minutes answering these questions. When was my attention stolen today? And why did I let it happen? Did I use technology with purpose, or as an escape? Where did I correctly separate what I can and cannot control? Where did I slip up? What's one specific thing I can do tomorrow to better protect my focus? This simple ritual forces you to become a scientist of your own habits, turning vague frustrations into concrete data you can act on. If you're finding these tools valuable and you're ready to build your own mental fortress, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into ancient wisdom for modern problems. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these techniques, the dichotomy of control, negative visualization, the art of ascent, or Stoic journaling, you're going to try first. Making that commitment is the first step. What's incredible is that modern neuroscience is helping us understand why these ancient Stoic practices can be so effective. When you engage in these exercises, you're not just changing your mindset, you're leveraging your brain's own ability to change itself, a process called neuroplasticity. You are actively rewiring your brain to fight back against digital overstimulation. Remember how we talked about brainrot involving a more reactive amygdala and an underused prefrontal cortex? Stoic-inspired practices directly address this imbalance. When you practice the dichotomy of control, you engage your prefrontal cortex to think rationally. By choosing to focus only on what you can control, you signal to your amygdala that there's no need for a full-blown stress response to a random notification. Over time, this can strengthen the connection between your rational and emotional brain centers. It's no surprise that modern cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which has roots in Stoic thought, has been shown to be effective in managing anxiety and emotional reactivity. Similarly, practicing the art of ascent is a direct workout in what neuroscientists call response inhibition, the power to override an impulse. Every time you notice a distraction and consciously choose to ignore it, you reinforce the neural circuits for self-control. You are weakening the old, automatic pathway of mindless scrolling and building a new, stronger pathway for deliberate focus. The Stoics figured out 2,000 years ago what modern science confirms. We can regulate our behavior by training our mind to pause and reflect before acting. Even Stoic journaling has a neuroscientific parallel. The act of writing down your thoughts and planning future actions engages the prefrontal cortex in self-regulation and goal setting. It helps move insights from your fleeting, short-term memory into long-term, integrated understanding, making it more likely you'll stick to your goals. In essence, Stoicism offers the software, the philosophical framework, that helps upgrade your brain's hardware, strengthening the very regions eroded by digital overuse. Using these techniques will start the process, but the real goal is to build a fully integrated Stoic digital life. It's about shaping your environment and your identity so that focus and clarity become your default state, not something you constantly have to battle for. First, become the curator of your digital world. A Stoic doesn't just passively accept their surroundings, they shape them to support a virtuous life. Be ruthless. Go through your phone and computer and apply the Stoic filter. Does this app, this subscription, this account help me become a better person? If the answer is no, get rid of it. Unfollow accounts that thrive on outrage. Use tools to block distracting websites. Create tech-free zones in your home, like the bedroom or dinner table. This isn't about rejecting technology, it's about mastering it, using it as a tool rather than letting it become your master. Second, embrace productive solitude. Our culture acts like being alone is a problem to be solved. But solitude is where deep thinking happens. You have to schedule time to be alone with a single, challenging task, completely free from distractions. It will feel uncomfortable at first. Your brain, used to constant novelty, will protest, but by sticking with it, you build mental endurance. Just like an athlete builds physical endurance, you have to learn to create more than you consume. Third, find your community. While Stoicism is focused on internal work, the Stoics were clear that we are social creatures. Overcoming a challenge this big is easier when you're not going it alone. Find people, in real life or in dedicated online groups, who share your goals. Sharing your struggles and successes reinforces your own discipline and reminds you that you're part of a movement of people choosing to live more deliberately. Finally, remember the Stoic goal of living in agreement with nature. Our minds did not evolve for this hyper-stimulated, fragmented digital world. They evolved for deep focus, rich social bonds, and quiet reflection. A Stoic digital life is one where technology serves our human need for reason, creativity, and community, rather than hijacking it. By living this way, you're not just fixing a bad habit, you're living a more authentic human life. We're all standing at a crossroads. One path leads deeper into mental fragmentation, a life of constant distraction where our attention is bought and sold, and our ability to think for ourselves slowly erodes. That is the path of digital brainrot. But there is another path. It's older and requires more effort, but it leads to strength, clarity, and freedom. This is the Stoic path. It teaches that your mind is a fortress that, if you guard it properly, can remain calm and strong, no matter the chaos outside. Digital brainrot is not a life sentence. It's the result of living in an environment designed to distract. And it is reversible. The timeless virtues of wisdom, temperance, courage, and justice are your shield. The practical techniques of the dichotomy of control, the art of ascent, and Stoic journaling are your sword. And through disciplined practice, you can literally rewire your brain for focus, resilience, and peace. The choice, as always, is yours. It is entirely within your control. You can click away from this video and get lost in the next feed. Or you can decide, right now, to take one small step, to try one technique, to reclaim 1 hour of your day, to choose purpose over passivity. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Reclaim your attention, reclaim your time, reclaim your life.